Have Shelly turn a little towards me and open her jaw and drop her chin to her chest a little bit. And I'm gonna have Shelly put her tongue to the right side, or left side, there we go, thank you. And I can see really well. Still using...
Retract the cheek, turn the mirror towards the tooth. You're going to get your modified pen grasp, fulcrum, and lower anterior area. Insert at the distal line angle to the bottom of the pocket. And then you're going to start bobbing strokes, walking, or we call bobbing strokes, up and down. You're going to get to the contact of the tooth, and then you're going to do a couple more bobbing strokes so that your tip is at the midline, directly under the contact at the bottom of the pocket. That would be your deepest pocket reading on the distal surface, typically. There, so again, you're in contact with the probe, but your tip is directed underneath the contact. You remove it at the distal after you take that reading. Reinsert it at the distal line angle. I'm going to the bottom of the pocket again. We're really practicing a couple millimeters. And what you're going to do is pivot your hand down. Again, the principle is to keep the tip in contact with the tooth while it's in the pocket. Keep going around to the middle, and the deepest reading from the distal angle to the mesial angle would be your buccal reading. And then you're going to keep an eye on the probe, keep walking it, bobbing strokes to the contact on the mesial side. And again, a couple more bobbing strokes to get the proper tipping. Again, the probe is touching the contacts, but the tip is at the midline.
Into her chest, and I'm going to take my thumb and retract. I'm going to place my thumb in the vestibule so I can see really well. O'clock.
Okay, probing the mand anteriors. Chin is down. Head is going to start slightly away from you. You're going to start with the buccal distal of the 4-3. Insert at the distal line angle. Bobbing strokes to the contact, and a very slight tilt interproximally. Take your reading, remove it. Start at the distal line angle. And pivot your hand down so that your probe stays in contact and in line with the tooth. And so on. Tip it, right, just slightly interproximally. And work your way all the way across the mand anteriors from the 8 o'clock position. And having asked the client again to turn their head away towards you as you're working across.
12 o'clock still, using an intraoral fulcrum and indirect vision, so I don't have to stand on my head to see things or twist my body like a contortionist to see things. Indirect vision is a skill that you want.
The linguals will recommend from 8 o'clock as well with your mirror. Indirect vision. And it would be, again, start at the distal line angle, interprox, distal line angle, lingual, and then into the mesial. And again, same idea, slight tilt, anteriors are skinnier teeth. Don't require as much of a tip to get the probe to the midline of the tooth interproximally. And something to note with the probe is that you do want to keep that handle in parallel to the occlusal plane so that your readings are appropriate, so that your angles are maintained.
I can slide in a opposite arch fulcrum. So I'm going to be fulcruming on the occlusal surface of quad 1. I'm going to take my mirror, I'm going to cup her tongue. And I'm using indirect vision to see my probe depths. Indirect vision again, gotta love it. Right.
So the lingual of the fourth quadrant posterior, going to come in and drop back mirror. Head is towards you, slightly towards you. Your mirror fulcrum's in the second quad anteriors. Your instrument fulcrum will be in the mand anterior area. And insert the distal line angle. Again, bob, 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 or walking strokes to get the contact. Tip, and a couple bob strokes there, and to remove it. And then at the distal line angle, reinsert. Bob, 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 or walking strokes. Again, to the contact. couple more bob strokes again right there. And then remove it. So the premolars will be tilted when you get to the interproximal. Premolars tipping just slightly, a little bit less. And then the anterior is even less tilt because there's less distance to the midline, into the midline, yeah. Can I do a predistal line angle again? Bobbing strokes to get to the contact. Keep the probe in touch with contact. Do a couple more little bobs. So not going to be too much more tilt than that because it's a skinnier tooth. Break it out. Reinsert at the distal line angle. Bob, bob, working or bobbing strokes. And then here and a slight tilt easily.